Hello, McFluffy52 here, back with some more Brothers War action, bringing you some interesting decks that you can try and play in Standard. Today, I'm trying to make use of a card type that showed up a lot in Brothers War, which was Construct. Uh, for instance, a few of the ones that we're playing is Stone Retrieval Unit, Goring Warplow, and then that's honestly all the, oh, sorry, Ashnod's Harvester as well. But fitting with the construct theme, the reason, uh, the part that really holds this deck together is our Dollhouse of Horrors. Now, this is a 5-mana artifact that says pay 1, tap it, exile a creature card from your graveyard, create a token copy that's of the exiled card, except it's a 0/0 construct artifact in addition to its other types, and has this creature gets +1/+1 for each construct you control. It gains haste until end of turn. Activate as a sorcery. So we're going to be doing some self-milling, and we're going to be using some creatures that have some nice ETBs to really get the most value out of this. Now, for our 1-drops, we actually have a ton of 1-drops here. We have Gnawing Vermin. This card is from Brothers War. It's a 1 mana or 1 black rat 1/1 that says when it enters the battlefield, mill 2 cards. And then familiar or similar to Shambling Ghast, when it dies, you can give target creature you don't control -1/-1 until end of turn. So you can use this to kind of ping down those stealthy creatures that are hiding behind their opponent's board. So if they're not attacking in with them, or if they're refusing to attack in with like an Iconoclast, for instance, you can go ahead, sacrifice this, and then you're going to be able to give it a -1/-1. We also have 1 Sack Outlet in this deck, which is another great card from Brothers War. You've probably seen this in a fair amount of Jund decks. Skyfisher Spider. So it's 2 generic, 1 black, 1 green, reach 3/3 spider. When it enters the battlefield, though, you may sacrifice another creature, which a good target is our Gnawing Vermin. So then we can give something -1/-1, potentially killing something. And then if you sacrifice another creature, you may destroy target non-land permanent. So this lets us ping down whatever's most important on the opponent's board. And then when it dies, you may gain 1 life for each creature card in your graveyard if you do exile it from your graveyard. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to let this die normally the first time, not exile it and gain the life. And then when we create a token copy of it, when the token copy of it dies, we can then go ahead and use that second ability, gain the life, and that way we're able to actually recur the Skyfisher Spider from our graveyard, get another one of those sack triggers, another one of those destroy target non-land permanents, and that's kind of how we kind of grind out value with this deck, is replaying things from the graveyard. So we have Gnawing Vermin, which mills, 2 Haywire Mites just to get other important artifacts or enchantments that are non-creature. And then we also have Iron Apprentice, just a really good construct. It's a 1 mana 0/0. It enters with a +1/+1 counter. When it dies, you can put those +1/+1 counters on a target creature you control. So just a nice creature to have that you can kind of chump with and still get value out of it. And then it's a construct. When you reoccur it, it gets that +1/+1. So not only is it getting +1/+1 for each construct you control, but it also gets the +1/+1 for being an Iron Apprentice and entering with a +1/+1. And then when it dies again, you can move that +1 counter again. So just kind of nice value. Ashnod's Harvester. I originally had more Stone Retrieval units and more Sarinth Steelseekers in this deck, and I kind of switched it out for Haywire Mites, or took 2 off of both of them and switched it out for Haywire Mites and Ashnod's Harvester. Just thought it would be more interaction, and they're nice low-cost artifacts, which can also help to trigger Patchwork Automaton or Sarinth Steelseeker. Just more artifacts to play is kind of nice in this deck when one of them is Patchwork Automaton, which you cast an artifact spell, put a +1/+1. Blanchwood Prowler mills 3 cards when it enters the battlefield. You can put a land from those cards if it was milled that way, into your hand. If you don't, put a +1/+1 on it. So worst comes to worst, you just get a 2/2. It's nice for finding lands to make sure that we can continue curving out to the 5 mana, because 5 mana can be difficult to reach sometimes. Sarinth Steelseeker, when an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you can look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may reveal it, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you can choose to put it in the graveyard or not. So that can help you get more creatures into the graveyard to reanimate with Dollhouse of Horrors or draw into lands. It's just more card advantage. More advantage is what we're going for. And that's about all the creatures besides Goring Warplow. It's just nice having a 2-mana Death Touch or a 5/4/6 mana Death Touch, but it's also just nice being able to reanimate a hasty, like, pretty big Death Touching artifact creature, because it's going to get +1/+1 for each construct you control. Can get really big. But yeah, Skyfisher Spider, very important removal in this deck. Gnawing Vermin can help ping some things down. Haywire Mite, we're hoping we'll get a few things. Ashnod's Harvester for interacting with the opponent's graveyard sometimes. And that's the deck. We're going to try it out in some ranked queue. I don't make any guarantees about how it's going to play. I've been playing it in, I think, mostly standard queue. I might be wrong. I made this deck previously and played it a little bit, and then I put it down and came back to it today because I was like, I should make a video, and I was like, this deck's actually kind of fun, kind of good. So we'll see how it performs on the ranked ladder. I think I have actually played some ranked games with it, but I think the ladder has changed a little bit since last time I played. So here's to hoping things are not too crazy. Play the forest out first. Question is, do we want Iron Apprentice or Haywire Mite? Well, we'll play Haywire Mite because at least if it dies, it says it gains 2 life, even if you don't sacrifice it. You can sacrifice it to exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. Alright, we don't really need the land here, so I might go ahead and double spell. Looks like they're playing Jund, which is a little disconcerting, but... Alright, now we got 3 power on the board, as well as some pretty good answers to what they might choose to play. Azusa's Many Journeys, did not expect that. They're ramping in Jund. Trying to figure out what they might be playing. What is their finishers? Well, you know, there's always the classic Kiki Jiki and Titan of Industry, so they might just be going for that. And Titan of Industry would be pretty murderous for our Dollhouse, and our Dollhouse is kind of how we keep value going. So we can get a pretty big Patchwork Automaton perhaps. That also is an artifact, so it could get hit. There is the problem with, we do got a lot of artifacts, so if they're playing like Brother's End, which is that 3-mana sweeper that does 3 damage to things, or can remove all, like, is it 2 mana value or less artifacts? Our opponent timing out because the choices are too great for what land they want to play. That is crazy. We might have just won by pure intimidation. That's crazy. They did not expect the minions of Mighty beat down. Oh man, I shouldn't have played that Besagio. I should have held it in hand because I'd probably get a land here. Yeah, that was a bit of a misplay, but probably shouldn't be too big of a problem. We're gonna swing them with our Haywire Mite, and then I think I'll go ahead and sacrifice it here. Actually, we don't care about them gaining 3 life here, I don't think. Because they probably have a Kiki Jiki or they're out of the game. They may have just AFK'd. They seemed like they were somewhat upset with their hand, considering they timed a bit. I do say I kind of like this, do they call it a battlefield? I forget what you would call these sort of, the backgrounds that you play the game on. Kind of like the aesthetic of this one. No, this one doesn't have any, like, oh, there's water. I do enjoy, like, clicking around sometimes, like, It looks like, is that the Johnny combo hands or something? Avatar? I don't know. So it looks like we may have just won our very first game by pure intimidation. Or they're perfecting the rope tactics, which is, you know, they're pretty good at it. I'll give them that. They've definitely got it down to a science here. Yeah, I think I'm still hold up the Haywire Mite. They can turn it into a creature. Wait, actually, if they turn it into a creature, we have a bit of a problem, so we'll get rid of it. No blocker for you. We gain 2 life. That animation seemed pretty fitting for how it disappeared. Are they going to rope us? They seem to be roping us earlier there, so. Oh my goodness. Their keyboard is AFK. Too bad we don't have any more like artifacts to play to pump up our Patchwork Automaton. Trying to think of like what's the biggest blowout they could draw into. They definitely seem to be perfecting their rope tactic because last time they timed out, it looked like they timed out to the very last second. So let's see if they can dodge a roping penalty here. Oh, no, they're not gonna click it. All right, now you can see this deck's win rate. I played one game after making the cuts here for the changes, so all those games were played previously, so I'm not quite sure if I should re-roll this. Oh, nothing. No 750 quest for me. Alright, right into another game. Hopefully Alec, or Alec? I don't know how you pronounce that name. Oh yeah, we do have Argoth. I have a few copies of Argoth, and I think I put 1 or 2 of them in here. Not a big fan of this hand. We don't have the mana to cast that, and then there we go. We don't really have enough to really give pump up Patchwork Automaton. We'll go ahead and play this first because we don't have any 1 mana. It's tap land, should be untapped this next turn. Play Blanchwood Prowler here. Skyfisher Spider should do good this game in keeping us pretty well alive. We'll take another green. Play Sarinth Steelseeker into an Iron Apprentice, triggering it. Phoenix Chick is a bit obnoxious, but not the end of the world. I feel like my sounds are up pretty high. If it's a land, it's a Haywire Mite. That's gonna transform next turn, so that's no good. Yeah, I'll get rid of that. No attacks. Get Etching of Kamano. Reckless Impulse to keep up this siege. I don't know what the right move here is. I can double block the etching. And then I can single block the Voldaren Epicure. And then I can put the pump on whatever survives. Actually, it's gonna leave the battlefield, it's not gonna die. So we don't get the pump. This is a bit of a mistake because we don't lose all our creatures. We at least keep one of them so we can stack it to Skyfisher Spider and get rid of the Monastery Swiftspear, I think. Yeah. There we go. Sack. Get rid of it. Get it out of here. Alright, we'll have enough mana for Dollhouse of Horrors, and then we can start getting the mill train going. And the feedback loop. Assuming they're going to be playing Rada, they put away a land to draw into another land, and they play Sokazan of Crucible of Defiance. Which is a channel land, which they might have actually wanted. Ah, Mechanized Warfare. I see, I see. I will gladly take that trade. They didn't play the Rada, so it should be gone here. I am not going to actually take that because I am not particularly interested in it. We do have Bosages, so we should be able to Bosages the Mechanized Warfare to get rid of it, and then we'll be able to return... actually, we could probably return a Haywire Mite and sacrifice it, but let's return a Stone Retrieval unit, I think, and get rid of the Mechanized Warfare. Go ahead, do this. I will mill myself. Go ahead. I would like Gnawing Vermin or Stone Retrieval unit. It's a which one is good? This one's good to return because then we can get Skyfisher Spider next turn potentially. Now that was not something we were particularly fond of milling, but boom, that's their artifact down. I think we might have 2 Bosages in this deck, maybe 1. I don't play multiple of the legendary lands, unfortunately. Go swinging with that. They might have a hasty thing, but we can block with our other Gnawing Vermin. One there and Epicure. Alright. Trying to burn us down. We need to perhaps sack our spider if we can get it in. There you go, a hasty creature. That's a good thing for us to remove here with our Gnawing Vermin. Oh, hold on. I have a nice combo here. Get our Gnawing Vermin. Mill myself. We'll go ahead and swing in. And then we can sack one of them to the Skyfisher Spider. Get rid of the Volt. Wait, actually, it was less of a combo than I thought, but it's fine. It's fine. This was overkill. My bad. I mean, it kills it. So now they're out of business. We are in business. Let's get that. What is the biggest thing we can return here? Probably, Haywire Mite, because we can use that to sack or gain life if it dies. Going in for 5, or, 7. Next turn they're dead. So if they don't draw into anything, they're dead. Worst comes to worst, we can sack our Haywire Mite to blow up our Dollhouse to gain life. And there we go. Constructs. The value. Straight to Value Town. You can see how we sort of play with our graveyard as like a second hand. And just keep reoccurring things once we get the Dollhouse down. Though, I would be very afraid if you play into someone who blows up the Dollhouse, which you're going to run into, but hopefully you draw into another Dollhouse or you have a good enough board to stall out long enough. But I feel like this deck is also like vicious enough that it ends the game pretty quick once it stabilizes, because Dollhouse just keeps returning these bigger and bigger threats from the graveyard. We'll keep this hand. It's not terrible. We can play Gnawing Vermin into a Patchwork Automaton. I will mill myself. Haywire Mite in the graveyard. Playing against Rakdos, which is interesting. We'll play this. Go ahead and swing in. Patchwork Automaton, just a nice card to have because it grows. Yucks. That's not very cool. We'll do no attacks here. They might have Rakdos sack here and they just use Jajar as like fuel. Yeah, it's looking like it. Alright, well, they can crown or blow up the crown, but we probably want them to spend the mana on it. There we go. Get your silly crown out of here. That does put us down a land in our hand, but it's fine. They're gonna probably get a dual land or tri-land. No. Isn't this? Oh, you play the life gain ones. That's fair. Are they attacking, not knowing what Gnawing Vermin does, and we clean the board. That's a bit of an oops. Alright, we get a actual pretty lucky draw here. We draw into an Iron Apprentice to pump the Patchwork Automaton. Don't think they have any hasters, could be wrong. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Big fan of Hitasugu. Get another counter here. We can swing in with an Iron Apprentice if we want to try and pump over Patchwork. Don't think it matters. Does this do damage to any target? Okay. That's interesting. I mean, they're probably using it as a sack outlet though, because this sack a creature scry too. Though they might be going for a cool kill with this. I like that. Hopefully they don't have an edict, because if we did that into an edict, we are very sad. So no Lily. Cross our fingers. We may have just played into a Lily. Ah, that's actually cool. You're playing tokens and sack. That's actually I like this deck. This is actually a very cool brew. All right, we'll go ahead pick up. What do we want? We can get Haywire Mite and then remove their thing. That's obnoxious. This is kind of mean. Kind of mean. Yeah, we're just... Actually, let's go ahead attack in, I think. Blockers. Okay. Do this at instant speed. Doesn't really matter. Gonna go ahead and sack his token at instant speed here as well, I think. Scrying. So they'll have enough mana to both trigger this and then target our Patchwork Automaton. So we're gonna need to be using this Dollhouse of Horrors to gain as much hasty value as possible, I think. Oh gosh, this is a scary one. Oh. So they're not going to use the ability, they're probably just going for the... Yep. There you go, the edict I was talking about. Looks like we may have played this poorly. We swung in with the Iron Apprentice there, and it did not yield good results, I don't feel like. Alright, go ahead, return ourselves, maybe a Gnawing Vermin? Ah, screw it, we'll play 2-1. No attacks. I think we're gonna take another round of beats this turn. Because if we can hold out here for a bit, involuntary employment, that's pain. Alright, they got the Hitasugu off the top for potential damage soon here. Now it makes a lot more sense why they're playing involuntary employment. Alright, don't have many options here. We can get a spider. Yep, there we go. Spider in graveyard is huge. Get this, return it. It's going to be a 1-1, but if it dies, we gain a bunch of life. We can sacrifice this to go ahead and destroy this. It doesn't really matter which one we target. Neither of them are going to die to the Gnawing Vermin. No attacks. Dreadfast Demon, that is scary. Ooh, interesting. That's actually a great combo with Dreadfast Demon. Alright, we're gonna need quite the big of lucky mills here, I think, to keep us alive. Got 3/3s. Okay, we got another so does each Dreadfast Demon ask for a sack trigger? I will gain the life, and I am dead. To wait, does this give a -1/-1? But it's not gonna happen soon enough. We're gonna die to the and even if we gave them -1/-1, we would just go to 0 life. That was a really cool deck from the opponent. Good use of Hidetsugu plus what's this guy's name? Lagamos, Hand of Hatred. And then that works combos really well with Dreadfast Demon, and then Voluntary Employment. Got rid of the Transmogrant Crown, but I think where we kind of went wrong, and we may have had a chance to win this if we didn't attack in with a Patchwork Automaton following when they had hit Tsugu. So a bit of a misstep maybe on our part. Don't know if that would have really won us the game, but I think that's an area that would have worked out better. I was a bit too eager to grow the Patchwork Automaton. Surely if we drew into more Skyfisher Spiders, that may have been nice, but alright. Okay, got super lucky. I realized after the fact that it was a bit of a silly keep because we can't really mill ourselves into the proper land color. Because we need green. And alright, we're playing against Orzhov Aggro? That's crazy. Go and play Blanchwood Prowler. Get more stuff in the graveyard. It's okay for it to die. Milled our Dollhouse. That's very painful. You want to hold back the Gnawing Vermin. Really don't like. You want to be able to hold it up so that if they swing in and make a misstep, you can easily take advantage of it. Alright, let's go ahead, play Patchwork Automaton, play Iron Apprentice, then we'll play Stone Retrieval unit next turn, and then we should have a pretty big, yeah, well, we could probably use more reach in this deck, so you might want to go with, like, Franz Spider, as like another potential option. Probably better than Stone Retrieval unit here. Wait, it is just better than Stone Retrieval. Well, it's a spider, not a construct, that's why this one's in the deck. But looks like we're about to get beat down in the sky, and that will probably be the death of us. But we tried. Alright. Opponent's only gonna be swinging in the air. Might be able to hold off stuff right now. They got a Giada. Are they gonna be playing any sort of like angels? Because this is a vampire, so they don't have any sort of angel synergy. It looks like they're just playing Giada for the flyer with vigilance, which honestly I respect. We did that in our legendaries deck the other day, and it was pretty good. Giada is not a terrible card. 2/2 flyer with vigilance, and then if you can get like mirror box or oh my goodness, we're milling the dollhouses left and right. Alright, we'll play Patchwork Automaton, pump the other Patchwork Automaton. That should allow us to swing in with it. Though they might just pump up their Evolved Sleeper a bunch and let it die. Or they're going to try and Infernal Grasp it? I mean, it is a ward too, so they could have enough mana to pay for the ward of also the kill spell. Though if they have go through for the throat, they're going to be struggling with us. We have so many artifact creatures. Alright. They're telling us that, yes, they have a very scary Evolved Sleeper. We'll go ahead and swing with the Gnawing Vermin, I think, here, because we can probably get the Yoshin frontliner down. That's not a worthwhile attack. Maybe we go in with the Patchwork Automaton. Probably a misplay, but I'm kind of running out of ideas here, because we're not drawing into what we want. And applying pressure, well, go ahead and get rid of your Yoshin frontliner. We're going to have to Unearth it. And swing in with it. Good game. It's interesting that they say that. Because do we have a spider in our graveyard? Because if we have a spider in our graveyard, no, we don't. Huh. Okay, yeah. It's a good game. I was joking. Welcoming Vampire. Go ahead and no attacks here. I do not know what the right move here is. Probably attacking in, but if we attack in, then they swing back even harder, and we're probably dead regardless. Go for the throat. Yep. Okay, so they do have go for the throats, but they're struggling because half our board is artifacts. They have Yoshin from... Oh, Hero of the Dunes. Now, I respect that card. Welcoming Vampire. We played a deck with Hero of the Dunes previously, and we didn't play it with Welcoming Vampire or Giada. We played it with Bloodbat, or like the Voldaren Bloodcaster, which is a 2/1 for 2 blue, or like 1 generic, 1 black, and when like a creature you control dies, get a blood token. This seems like a pretty solid brew of what they have. Most of our creatures are going to die, but we're dead next turn anyways. We'll say our opponent GG'd incredibly early. Now, if we were playing a black deck with any sort of removal or a Shieldred, perhaps we would have had a better chance because we would have been gaining life with Shieldred. We would have had some actual like removal for their welcoming vampires, which really carried them through that second half of that game. Go ahead and play one more here and see if we can win again. See that we're struggling a bit more in rank queue, but I feel like we're doing okay, all things considered. Don't know if this deck is competitive enough. You need good draw. It's like you need your deck to run well, which is probably something you should not rely on to beat the opponent who's also just running okay. But you do get a lot of card advantage through milling yourself and being able to return the cards you mill. Alright, this hand is pretty dang good. We've got the Gnawing Vermin to self-mill, we've got the Blanchwood Prowler to self-mill, get ourselves a land. Got the Dollhouse of Horrors to reoccur things. We got Goring Warplow as a pretty threatening blocker. Yeah, our only answer to like Shieldred is maybe if we added like a fight spell, or we could also potentially add a fight spell to this deck so that you can fight them with the Death Touching Plow, but we haven't drawn into the Plow a whole ton. Let's swing in. Probably don't have a hasty creature. Playing black, mono black to be specific, or at least that's what it looks like. They're struggling to figure out what they want to do, so maybe they are not playing mono black and they're just not having fun. Oh, nope, they're playing mono black. Okay, we'll go ahead cast, I guess, that land. Would have been smart to play the swamp so I don't take damage here, but that's fine. But to be fair, we could also play the Haywire Mite and then instantly sack it to kill the Okiva Reckoner's raid. There is that choice. Stone Retrieval unit means... we misplayed. So if we played the swamp here, we could have casted... Well, I think we probably wanted to play the swamp regardless, and then play the Haywire Mite and sack it to get rid of the Reckoner raid. Alright, now we really have no other option besides to play Skyfisher Spider here, and then, like... actually, we'll go ahead and swing in. If they block with the... If they block the Haywire Mite... I didn't mean to swing with Haywire Mite. Or I shouldn't have. Yep, they're gonna block the Haywire Mite, which is not cool. Trying to decide their blockers very carefully. We can take the Reckoner raid. This is definitely a misplay. Should have kept the Haywire Mite black. I mean, we get more damage in here. There is that upside. What we'll go ahead and do is we'll go ahead, play Skyfisher Spider, sack this creature, get rid of the Gix. Don't want to see it. Nezumi Raid Captain. Or Road, my bad. Don't think they'll be playing any vehicles. Actually, they might be playing one vehicle in particular. Reckoner Bankbuster. Works really well with Shieldred. And, ooh, discard. Discard. I don't like where this is going. Oh, you also have a Goring Warplow. Interesting. Okay, we'll play this before we lose it. That is incredibly valuable to us. Or valuable to us. Go ahead, no attacks here. Don't really see any good attacks, or prefer to conserve our life total here. Because we will start being able to recur things. The Raven Man is going to pose a pretty big problem here. But if they ever attack in, we kill it with the Vermin, because we can block with the Vermin. And then give it -1/-1. So, depending on what they choose to do, I think we have them pretty good locked out. That is not a move we'd want to be making. Though, to be fair, I don't know what is their best bet. Just keep discarding us and hold everything back, I would think. Because what we'll do here is we'll block this, block this. Actually, we should have blocked the Goring Warplow. Because they can just block with the Skyfish, or switch it to the Skyfisher Spider. Ah, absolutely fine. Sure, dude. No problem. That thing is gonna go. Don't really like the prospect of having a bunch of flyers to deal with. Stone Retrieval unit. Create a Power Stone. Go ahead. I'm gonna return. Sarinth Steelseeker seems actually like a fun pick. Something really cool about reanimating this. I think I'll do it just to show. If you reanimate this, A is going to be a 3/3 because we have 2 other constructs, but it counts itself as an artifact entering the battlefield, so you can use it to trigger it. Go ahead. We'll hold back everything. Don't really want to lose my Sarinth Steelseeker to the Goring Warplow. It's not really worth. And the more constructs we keep alive here, the bigger they're all going to get. Okay, so we'll trade Goring Warplows, I think. Because I want to be able to attack in without any fear. And then we can double block the Nezumi Road Captain. So if they have an Infernal Grasp, now we're cool. What? Oh, the other one died. The other construct died, and so it became a 2/2. The Sarinth Steelseeker became a 2/2. It took 2 damage and it died. Okay. Now what we can do here, this is probably not the most fun or ideal thing, but it kind of keeps them out of the game. We'll create an artifact copy of the Haywire Mite, swing in, sack it, get rid of it. And hope they do not have another Invoke to spare. The card is broken. In hindsight, I don't know what I would have done differently with the whole Sarinth Steelseeker dying. I feel like it was okay as the way things worked out. It was just still, it was sad, but it was okay. Go ahead, cast this for full mana. Because we just have that extra Power Stone and so much mana lying around. What we will go ahead and do is we'll create... what do we want to actually make a copy of? I kind of want to create a copy of Steelseeker again to start just getting random card advantage. It's going to be a 2/2, so we should be able to swing in with it. We're just going to go ahead and Infernal Grasp. Alright, Iron Apprentice. I would prefer to draw into something more like a Dollhouse. We'll we'll beat in. We want to keep this alive if we can. They can play, or they can blitz if they want to. It's going to cost them 2 damage anyways. We'll take 3. We'll still be in the lead. And at some point we can reanimate a spider, and if the spider dies, we can gain a bunch of life because now we have how many creatures in our graveyard? We have 9 creatures in our graveyard, so that might be what we want to do next turn, is just reanimate the spider with no targets. They do probably have a permanent spell that they're going to want to cast here, that is one thing. So I'm not entirely sure what the move is. Probably can go ahead and do this and then actually get ourselves a spider. So, what do we actually want to cast? Yeah, we'll cast a spider, or grab a, no. We get a Goring Warplow, because we can play this for 2, pump up our things, check the top of the library, and mill it, and then go ahead, grab ourselves probably a pretty big construct here. Check the top of our library, Goring Warplow, that can go in the graveyard, don't need it. And we have lethal, my bad. I forgot. Yeah, it was good that we picked up that because it's a construct, it buffs the other 2, and then we picked that one because it gets a +1 counter when it enters, so it also ends up being pretty big. You can see how the constructs, though they're kind of crappy on their own, kind of work well in this deck because you just get extra value out of them being considered constructs. Oh, I think I said that was going to be my last one. Well, we're going to play another because that was so much fun. That one was a lot of fun. This will be the last match, though. I suspect, though, we might get beat down by a Haughty Djinn deck right now. We have not seen our fair share of Haughty Djinn yet. Do you like Haywire Mite in the sense that it also just gains incidental life even if it just dies? Alright, Patchwork Automaton. Kind of weird to be playing mono green artifacts with Haywire Mite and Patchwork Automaton, but that's kind of what it looks like, considering we didn't play our swamp there. Esper on our opponents, they're probably gonna go ahead and make disappear. Yup. Bye bye. We still get a +1 counter though, and we can still keep the beat up. That's the one thing, is this deck, once you get, if you can resolve the Dollhouse, you're in actually a decent position. We could go ahead and blow up their Celestis, but we can wait until our turn to do that if we really want. Stone Retrieval unit, this is huge. That ramps us so we can play Dollhouse and reanimate next turn. I'm gonna, oh shoot, I tapped out. Okay, well, they could, no, okay, they got a tap land, so they don't actually have anything good here. We'll resolve that. We do have access to Haywire Mite. I'm afraid they're going to counterspell us, so we're not going to go for the Dollhouse of Horrors until we see what's up. I'm going to bet they have a counterspell, so we're going to go ahead and just swing in, and then probably sack our Haywire Mite to get rid of the Celestis. They might be about to play something more significant, so we might regret this, but memory deluge, my bad. Deluge. Alright, well, they're going to have a tough time casting that with 4 mana. 5 mana, okay, they have Invoked Despair at their fingertips now. If Iron Apprentice dies, I'll probably put the +1/+1 on Stone Retrieval unit just to diversify the power. We have a kill here if they don't gain life or wipe the board. Okay, I'm going to guess they have an Emperor, so in that case, we're going to force them to either counterspell this or play Emperor here. If they counterspell this, they die if they don't counter spell. Oh, okay, I did not expect that. Counter. That is not in our favor now. Good, play this. Mill ourselves. Now that was a terrible mill. Alright, we'll go ahead and swing in. They're going to block the Patchwork Automaton. They go down to 3. They need a board wipe, or they want to cast their Emperor and exile something, or create a chump blocker. Teferi, who slows the sunset. That'll gain them life, but it's not a creature, and they can... Oh, you're dead. Yeah, okay. They're just casting out their final spells, most likely. Don't think there's anything for 1 mana that saves them here. And yep. Got a lot of low to the ground creatures here. And sort of plow our way through some matchups with the Goring Warplow. What did we get? Heirloom Bowhin. Or Heirloom. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed the deck. Golgari constructs in standard here with our set of Dollhouse of Horrors, Skyfisher Spider, Patchwork Automaton, Haywire Mites, Gnawing Vermin, Ashnod's Harvester. We didn't actually get to see that ever this game, but it's not a terrible card in some cases. If they have something to unearth, you can just kind of play it, reanimate it, or unearth it, and exile it, just so that you get keep them out of some card advantage, even if it's not anything crazy. Admittedly, you might prefer to have like licensed Hearst or unlicensed Hearst or whatever it is that can exile 2 cards each turn, and it's just an artifact vehicle that sits on the battlefield. That's very good against the Haughty Djinn decks. So maybe that's an area for improvement in this deck, but you are sacrificing another construct there. You're sacrificing the ability to unearth it. You're sacrificing a 3/1, which is pretty good for just biting at any creature the opponent wants to swing at you with. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe. I also stream on Twitch occasionally, so come follow me at McFluffy52 on Twitch. And yeah, I will say that I would like to apologize for the more sporadic videos. Been a bit busy lately, so hopefully we'll be able to continue making more like daily videos here shortly. Well, yeah, I plan to. So thank you for watching. Have a nice morning, evening, afternoon, wherever and whenever you're watching. Ciao.